Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Creating the Land to Mentorship here with another video, and we're going to react to someone who refuses to pay her debts. And then after we do that, we're just going to do a debt payoff demonstration. And so let's go ahead and watch the video.
Why are you not paying them?
Because why would I?
No, like if it starts back up, if none of them are forgiven,
I mean,
you'll just not pay them?
yeah,
And that hurts your credit. You don't care?
yeah,
It might go to collections and people could come after you and potentially
Yeah.
sue you. You do not care.
no.
The thing is, just like, okay, responsibility aside, okay, the repercussions of not paying the student loan debt, what are they going to do? If there's no money to collect, if it gets sent to collections, what are they going to get? It's
So one thing that you have to understand, the reason why they would make this type of loan to someone who's a risky borrower is that the federal government guarantees the loan. They would never do that in other cases if they find out that you don't have the means to repay.
sounds like this person has nothing.
Student loans that were a contract that you signed with your name, agreeing to pay back, do you not feel a moral responsibility?
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about
All right. All right, so let's go ahead and get ahead started. It's like, yeah, I don't care. And there are a lot of people like that on TikTok. Now, I'm not saying you should be like that because, if you have credit, if you pay your bills, there's a lot of benefits and probably less stress too, right? Much less stress than if you don't. Okay, or what, am I saying that right? Yeah. So if you do pay your bills, probably a lot less stress than if you don't, and go to collections and all that. But some people just don't care. And what we're going to do is pay off our debt using a method called the velocity debt cannonball method. We used to call it velocity and then this word, but we're trying to become compliant because believe it or not, um, the state of Illinois actually cracked down on another YouTuber who actually sells velocity banking services. We don't do that now or as of yet. But it says right here, Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation, Division of Banking, um, basically had a cease and desist, and it says you're not allowed to use the words bank, banker, or banking in connection with the business without prior approval of the division. And so let me just kind of scroll down here. Use of the terms accelerated banking and velocity banking to describe and promote certain aspects of respondents' financial, educational, and consulting services, right? So that's why we're kind of straying away from this word right here, and we're calling it something else, maybe the velocity method, velocity debt method, debt cannonball method. But as you can see here, this word has kind of become like Voldemort in the Harry Potter series. I think I've never really read Harry Potter, but I think Voldemort is like it's like the name you can't say or something like that. Can't say this name if you're talking about debt payoff and creating a business out of it too. State says that people will think you're a bank, and that's not allowed, right? Use the words bank, banker, or banking, and this was the Kwok Brothers YouTube channel. Anyways, all right, let's go ahead and do a demonstration of the velocity debt cannonball method. All right, so let's go ahead and how do we get started? Basically, what we have to do is create a budget. And the budget is essentially your debt attack plan. You have your income, expenses, leftover checking and savings. So here this is like $70,000 income. So with $75,000 income a year, I think that's about 4,500 a month, right? So 4,500 a month. Um, we don't have as much debts as the other demonstrations, but we see we have three credit cards, an auto loan, student loan, and a mortgage. But the mortgage is way less. So we're assuming that maybe this person lives in a lower cost of living state. But even those lower cost of living states kind of get you, right? Like I heard like in West Virginia, the power bill is more than the mortgage, but the mortgages are supposed to be really cheap. But the reason why the power bills are so high is because of whatever's going on with, I think, the AI data centers that's jacking up electricity. I might be wrong about that, but that right now there's tons of articles about how the power bills are higher than the mortgage. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to copy and then paste the income and the expenses, and then we're going to put a zero at checking and savings, right? And so what is this velocity debt cannonball method? And we can't say this word right here because it's banned. Um, what is it? Basically, it's just a fancy way of saying don't save money. and use a line of credit to help you manage your cash flow. That's all it is, right? So, if we don't save money, guess what? All of our money is being used to pay off debt. Therefore, we're going to pay off debt normally faster than the average American would, because the average American is taught, hey, when you get paid, pay your bills and then put the leftover in your checking and savings, right? So 65-16 right here. And so that's what we're going to do, is just not save money and dump all of our money into something called a line of credit. So what's a line of credit? It's basically a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay it back, and then use it over and over again. So if you have a home equity line of credit, basically they'll give you up to 80 to 90% of the equity, uh, and you let you use it kind of like a credit card, right? You can use it to pay whatever you want, and we'll just assume that we have maybe like I don't know, 300,000, no, not 300,000. Actually, let me just assume that we have a $60,000 home equity line of credit. $60,000, okay? So give me 1 second. And we're going to assume it's free and clear. Now, if you only have $65 left over and you apply for a free and clear line of credit, will the bank give it to you? The answer to that is no, because banks don't lend money to people who need it. You got to remember that. Banks don't lend money to people who need it. So, what I'm demonstrating is, if there was a bank to lend you a line of credit at this time, at this moment, think your lucky stars, because pretty much none of them will. Okay? Like, it's not realistic because banks don't lend money to people who need it. So, we have more realistic scenarios in the paid the paid membership. So like, I did one live stream where someone had like 22 debts, made about 5,000 a month after tax, and we went through that scenario, and that person only had $4 left over. So if you want to see that, go ahead and join the YouTube channel membership, only 99 cents. All right, so now let's go ahead and calculate the cash flow index. So if you don't know what the cash flow index is, it's basically the debt amount divided by the payment, and then you get this number right here. So this arbitrary number, which you kind of think of as a debt ranking system, right? Debt ranking system. So if you do this, right, like, you know which debts to pay off first. You don't want to pay off the high ranking one first, because the high ranking one means that you don't get much bang for your buck in terms of cash flow. So what does that mean? I literally have to give someone $180,000 to only get $758 back in my life. Whereas I can pay off like two, or these three credit cards, which is about, I think, 28,000, to get about the same amount, right? So you want to pay 28,000 to get the same amount, or 180,000 to get $758, right? Which one gives you more bang for your buck? Obviously, these low numbers, which is why we pay them off first, even though a lot of people might be tempted to try to tackle on the mortgage first, because it's connected to something that's very emotional to a lot of people, which is their own personal home, right? So 5, 8, 15. I'm going to go ahead and sum it up. So that's 28,000. So that's 28,000. So what we're going to do is kind of like do a credit card balance transfer right here. And then guess what happens when we do that quote balance transfer? Oh my goodness. And then it's going to be 0, 0, 0. And so now this is going to be 6516. That's the amount in checking and savings that's left over. And then bam, we magically turned that into almost $1,000, right? So obviously, the more money you make and the more debts you have, the more dramatic this becomes. But we don't really have that much debt. It's like three credit cards that we just essentially did a balance transfer. But $987 is way better than $65. You know what I'm saying? And then what we're going to do is, now we're going to just put all of our entire paycheck into that line of credit, take our expenses out, and then rinse and repeat over and over again, right? So that's kind of pretty much what it is, and it'll be 987.66. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the average daily balance, multiply by the interest rate, and then divide by 12. And then we also take into account the line of credit interest rate here. And then let's go ahead and do that. And then we see that in month, I don't know, what month are we at? Uh, how long is it going to take? Probably 3 years, or a little bit less than 3 years. Yeah, a little bit less than 3 years. So we see that in 32 months, okay, 32 months, it's all been paid off. All right. So I am going to do this and just do 32 months. And then how much was that? That is 28K. 32 months, 28K. All right. And then we have an auto loan, student loan, and the mortgage. And so let's go ahead to the loan calculator right here. So we just have this loan calculator where all you got to do is put the current month and it'll tell you the current balance, right? And then so now we just followed the same formula, cash flow index, lowest one. Let's pay off this auto loan and get that $359 of cash flow back. So I'm just going to do that right here. Plus 9706.65. And we're going to do that right here. And then this is going to be 0. And then this is going to be $1,300 of cash flow now. Okay. And then minus 1347.03. And then this is going to be, okay, at month 39, right? So probably the at the 3-year, 3-month mark, the auto loan is now paid off. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this as 36 months. That'll be 48K paid off. And then now we have the student loan and the auto loan. So let's go ahead. I'm sorry, was it 36? Let me just quickly check if it was. I'm sorry, 39 months. 39 months. Okay. So 39 months. And then now what we're going to do is this is now 0. We're at month 39, right? So we have 29 grand here and 167 again. So if you know how the cash flow index system works, it's usually like they say, oh, pay it off if it's below 50. If it's above 50, we can still use a line of credit to pay it off, but we have to do something called chunking. So what we're going to do is we're going to move a small amount of the loan into a line of credit. So we'll just say about maybe $5,000, right? And then just you do the same method. So it would kind of look like this, right? So this is how it looked like in real life. So just do this plus 5000, okay? And then we see that in about a couple months or so, it gets paid off, and then we just kind of rinse and repeat again, right? So did I screw up? Hopefully I did not. Okay, but luckily we have this velocity band. I used to call it velocity, this word right here, right? But it's a band word, so I just call it the band calculator, right? So all I got to do is just fill in the details right here. So it's we did the auto loan, so now we're just going to do the student loan of $40,000. Let me just do this right here. 40. Whoopsie. Let me just do this. So 6%, 10 years, 40,000. And then what's the current balance? The current balance is 29,518.11. 29,518.11. And then the payment amount is 444.08. And then what's the income and the expenses? Okay. And then what's the income? Income is 4,500. All right. So 4,500. And then what's our living expenses? It's everything except for the loan we're trying to pay off. So it's these two. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. We're going to sum it up. So our expenses is 2708.89. So let's see, 2708.89, right? And then let's just do a $5,000 chunk. And then we see that it gets paid off in 1.4 years. So just do this, 39 divided by 12. No, 39 plus 1.4 times 12, and that's going to be 56 months, and then the student loan is paid off, right? So this is now 0, and then that's going to be 88K, okay? And then the mortgage, let me just kind of go here, 56 months, whoopsie, 56 months. Okay, so we just kind of do the same thing. We put 56 months. Hold on, did I screw up? Okay, 56 months in this loan calculator, and we just do the same thing again, right? So now what we got to do is update our figures. So here, this is going to be a 30-year mortgage. Delete, let's see, delete, delete. All right, so 4,500. So our expenses is everything except for the loan we're trying to pay off, which is 1950. And then go right here. So let me see, 180K. Current balance is 161,457.76. 161,457.76. And then the payment amount is 758.89. So 758.89. And then, yeah. So now we see that this gets paid off in about 5.5 years. So what we just do right here is, right, so this is now 0. So I know I went a little bit quick, but again, you just put in the loan details, put in how much you want to move into the line of credit each time from the loan, and then you just put your income and expenses, and the expenses includes everything except for the loan you're trying to pay off. Okay, so now it's 5.5 years, and then it'd be 56 divided by 12.5.5, and so that's about 10.17 years till we are debt free. Okay, 10.17 years. All right, well, that's it for today, folks. This is Korean Lanta Mentorship here with another video. But yeah, a lot of people refusing to pay that debt. And to be honest, I don't think it's really that good to have these videos online because then it just kind of normalizes. I don't know if ruining your life is the best way to say it, but maybe, right? So,
With the credit card, do you feel moral responsibility to pay that back?
Not at all.
Do you feel moral responsibility to pay your rent?
Honestly, no, because my landlord's a dick.
Do you have any financial goals in the future, and how are you going to meet them?
I mean, I would like to have a house. Hopefully I win the lottery one day. That's
But
the
no
plan.
moral obligation to pay for that house, right?
Bingo.
This is real, which is
yeah. All right, well, that's it for today, folks. Have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video. In the next, what are we calling it? We're calling it the Velocity Debt Cannonball Demonstration. All right, have a great day.